As a player who has taken many breaks over the years of doing this channel from Total War Warhammer 3, where I mainly just casted and didn't play as much, I can definitely empathize with someone feeling a bit rusty when they're coming back. I'm going to be in that same boat here very soon as I start to prepare for the upcoming DLC. Need to make sure my skills are up to par, but Profit here said he was a bit rusty submitting this replay here today, playing as the Lizards. So I will say, from a build perspective, he's set himself up for success. And then he's got, well, I won't call it a blob build by any means. He's got like a few key kind of high value pieces to manage, and then a bunch of chaff to kind of support it here. He's got 2 Rev Crystals with Lord Croak, Nakai leading the cohort of Waddle, and a unit of Temple Guard, and then pretty much the rest is all skink cohorts with and without javelins. Basically, yeah, gives himself a few high value pieces to manage, and the rest can support that. Like I said, up against Norsca, his player here, taking a nice flanking position with some skin wolves. He's got warhounds over here as well, a couple of horsemen with throwing axes, taking those javelin volleys. We have Tashnar, ice wolves, and in the front, plenty of infantry, marauders, marauders' weapons, marauders' spears. He's got Wolfric on horseback, some throwing axe hunters, a sorcerer, shaman of death here. Very interesting build. A couple of Norscan trolls. Yeah, wild stuff. But this mobility engagement is going to go relatively poorly for Norsca. While they might have thought they could get an initial early get here, the cohort of Waddle are able to respond in time, and even just the skink javelins on their own on the approach were able to do some pretty substantial damage. So some nice early value for the Lizardmen. And we see here the Norscan throwing axe cavalry do have shields. Something a lot of people forget, the throwing axe variant, as long as they're not corn throwing axes specifically, they've got shields. Of course, the corn boys have dual hand axes, which weirdly enough Norsca doesn't get access to, like the god-marked marauders. That's probably a topic for another day. But anyway, Javelin's going to stay on station here and kind of counter-skirmish with them very cost-effectively, doing some great damage here. And yeah, just trading at cost very, very well. We do get some melee engagements starting to develop here as well as, yeah, some magical engagements perhaps. Let's see if Croak starts to unleash some AoE damage here with the pizza deliveries. Right now, weirdly enough, I don't think Wolfric's attacks were actually targeting Croak. I think he might have been targeting some Temple Guards there instead. But the forward of Waddle moving in, looks like they're going to get engagement perhaps against some trolls here. They're led by Nakai on a glorious charge up the hill. Will take a little bit of wind out of their sails in the charge, but yeah, it'll be a slightly favorable engagement for Norsca just because of the slope, but overall, still, quality definitely goes in Nakai's favor, and especially with that big Primal Roar buff, physical resistance, and melee attack, up to 85 melee attack with Dazed, too, which is going to reduce melee defense even further, basically 95 effective attack against these Norscan ice trolls. Just absolutely spectacular here. And Lord Croak also getting the Rev Crystal, getting that shield of the old ones, as he did take some pretty substantial damage once Wolfric started to actually focus his attacks there on Lord Croak. But both Bastildons just kind of standing firm for the time being, not really wanting to engage too hard, although they could certainly run in and get some terror routes a little bit up close. I don't know, I think they're slightly out of range, but the trolls were routed regardless, not like they really needed the terror, but it does kick in for those marauders at least. And for Norsca, yeah, just kind of grinding melee a little bit here, which is not the most comfortable thing. They don't really have a lot of missile units, which are going to be great for supporting. Looks like those Marauder Hunters took a bunch of damage, like the AoE damage. Yeah, we see another pizza delivery over there on the far side, going to detonate some more Marauders, so definitely going to not work in Norsca's favor to have all this infantry kind of overblobbed in certain situations. That one skin cohort getting mad value, basically, by acting as the anvil for the magical hammer of Lord Croak. But Norsca's still going to be dangerous here with Wolfric on the field. And that Lore of Death as well. I don't know where he's been targeting those spells or what he's even brought. Let's take a look. Hasn't been crazy impactful so far, I guess. But just Fate of Yuna looking like was trying to target infantry here, which, yeah, the Norscans didn't actually take too many Temple Guard. They do still have the one left, which definitely would be a good target for Fate of Yuna. I mean, I guess they'll do some damage to these Croc scores, and the throwing axes coming in here, both mounted and unmounted, especially firing from a high ground position, are going to also do some pretty substantial damage. So a little bit of a threat developing for the Lizardmen, as they don't really have the mobility to go back and challenge the throwing axes right now. We see the Trolls cresting the hill, getting a nice little charge in here. They'll fight at least momentarily and provide a little bit of armor-piercing damage. Briefly until they get terror-routed away here, inevitably by the Bastillodons. Yep, very short order. So that's definitely going to be the problem for Norsca right now, is their leadership. The Quaddle do use what limited speed they have to try and go back and pressure these throwing axes, but that's also going to separate them from support a little bit here. Not that there's a lot that can punish them. Maybe these Ice Wolves and Marauders can come in here. Yeah, the Marauders' great weapons actually with the Ice Wolves in support. So the Quaddle unsupported would struggle just with that many unit models of armor-piercing stuff, especially the Trolls run over there as well. But Norsca definitely staying crafty. But another pizza deliver here, nice and tight on those Marauders. I catch a few of them at least fleeing. Not too much damage, but still, Lord Croak already 96 kills, over 2,400 damage value, just blowing up infantry here. Yeah, the Skin Wolves also maybe had been in tactical reserve, or maybe chased something off the side of the map and got forgotten about briefly, but they're going to run in here against the Quaddle 1v1. I mean, don't have the best armor-piercing values. Let's see how it goes. I say 1v1. Nakai is lurking there on the edge of the forest, charging up, getting ready to swing in his lollipop about. Well, maybe. Just definitely shouting some words of encouragement at his proxy bros as he gives a nice primal roar here. Finally, some support units going to show up for Norsca as well. Those Marauders kind of filtering in a little bit, but 39 attack versus 41 defense. Even then, you know, with that physical resistance and everything, they're not really making much contact. A little bit of charge bonus, 22 as well. I guess on the charge, you see a little bit of damage come in, but another pizza delivery should shortly end that little romp by those Marauders. Yep, that even does some really good damage to the Skin Wolves actually as well. Just straight shatters that unit of Marauders. So it's not a great day to be in that particular area if you're a Norscan. But still some Trolls and Marauders over there on the far side. A little bit of a threatening functional group, but they might just get army lost here, to be honest. Yeah, had they come over here and dealt with these guys earlier, maybe they have a chance to come in. But to be honest, Croak plus these Rev Crystals is going to be very tough to kill. Rev Crystals in particular, due to their immunity to flanking. They are just extremely hard to kill, and they still got plenty of uses of their heal as well, so could sustain this fight for quite some time. In fact, I think one, yeah, just a cold-blooded there, not an actual Rev Crystal, although they still have half their unit models alive, so could regenerate a substantial amount of HP, actually, if the Rev Crystal were to be used on them right now, before any more of those unit models died. But I don't know if they're off cooldown. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that should at least restore some of the unit models. Let's see. Yeah, looks like Norsca's just going to throw in the towel, sensing how hopeless it was, or maybe that was an actual conquest victory. I wasn't paying attention to the points, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, Profit here, classic Croak kind of brawl build, ends up working out well. Support units actually reasonably well executed in terms of kind of defending against the enemy support units here. The mobile harass, Auto Horsemen were still reasonably cost effective, and some of the Wolves at least got some great kills, almost 300 kills chasing routing units, which is nice to see, of course. Some great value on one Hunter at least, throwing some axes. Definitely can be very dangerous with that extra AP. Sometimes they're a better choice here rather than the Javelin Hunters, in my opinion. I kind of don't disagree with any of that. Maybe the Trolls is the one thing I would change out here. I just don't think their leadership is reliable enough, and you do have some ways to maybe give them extra leadership and immune to psychology, but not in this particular build, so I definitely option them out for something else. But other than that, it's not a bad build by any means. Yeah, just Profit had some good answers, and definitely those double Rev Crystals just healing up here. Croak delivering the pizzas of death, and the Quaddle also just kind of waddling around and smacking things down. Absolutely beautiful. Temple Guard, 1500 damage value as well. Just a nice Lizardman victory. Solid Lizardman victory. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button every time I upload a new video. You'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.